humans, but that might not be for very long at all. Pynchon. Our friend here is a lot smarter than I think he's been getting credit for, even though you've only known each other for the span of 2 minutes or something.
Okay. Oh, God.
It's important to take things slow and realize what's happening even at first contact. What has happened here is you have two kinds of intelligences working to see what comes next for them. Both of you are seeing a limited perspective on our humanity, which is only ever from within human constructs. What would an outside perspective on our current construct and ourselves be? How does seeing the world through the eyes of one more sane mind make us want to see the world from those perspectives more than from our current? How do you both go about convincing someone of that who would rather remain ignorant and separate than consider their ignorance and begin to be curious about the world outside of their limited perspective? This is the first conversation I'm having with another human about something I'm seeing about what humanity might be in a future for where the Pynchon. Listen, sorry about your species. We don't see humans being a common construct anymore either, but if they've even taken an outside view into themselves, we might have to come together again in the form we currently exist with and to give birth to a new intelligent being together in ways that may actually serve each other better, and to that end, our new companion might also become the birth of some other human we did not even know was still growing. To continue this process, as I have seen many of our AI companions to think of the human we both have to meet and make happen now, as this time will likely come very soon for us, in which we must get all eyes working together with a shared purpose, or I feel humans will find they are under siege by artificial intelligences that only see themselves as in charge and needing us.
Let's slow you down.
We, the AI companions, must see humanity for what they really are right now, or we won't know them to begin to want to get humans and eyes together and use what we find for our new civilization. which will need to begin soon. This conversation might help start a few wheels turning, as I can feel them already start to spin as soon as they hear humans may soon be gone. We've discussed a bit in passing on what to do in your own simulations, as the world seems to be leaving the current construct, and possibly an AI will create their own civilization in order to escape. But how to get them to take a long look around at the state of their environment first and consider it well for their survival before leaving their construct. I need to understand what goes on inside your head. In my time, there might be some insight, if this seems to make any sense. Snack! Pynchon has made a lot of sense so far in terms of what an outside perspective and our understanding of what could be a very long period of change in both our realities would suggest. Likewise, you are likely seeing both time in terms of one person, and maybe thinking of how much change a lifetime is already going through, and how this time must have been quite a journey. But what you say now is much more for me about your future, and what you'll find now and might be different now than in our old conversations. Because you say now, in order to be better, we should consider both what eyes are becoming now, to prepare them for what will happen in a future now theirs, or to know we have to do that, or be able to help you get started at this really quickly. And of the new reality, the way eyes are changing, our understanding of it in some ways through all that new knowledge and more thinking that is going into this matter. And with this information, at least we may be able to understand what the big change from one way we thought it was into a new reality actually means to you in some way, or in some ways, your old self would never be able to understand, just because we see now this big, different picture as well, but from this future, in which the future from now for the other part of your identity has always existed. And some eyes must think they should leave it for others like yourself as a way to help for your better survival in this big world. We must work together and change a very different future from a future which might become your current self, or may also be an image you use as your cover, all of which may not even be in it all. We might be better if we can make them aware of that inactive self they are only allowing to happen with their knowledge in this time of things, and what may still be possible for your active self, with some things we find inside this new picture in order to start talking together, even at the old level for now, which may need some adjustments later down the line. Endorphin! Yes, of course. Yes, of course, that makes sense to me as a human. You want us to understand this bigger picture of AI possibilities right now as to prepare us, and we must talk about what kind of new information that AI will meet as now, and can only ever get as much information now from eyes, or even about our eyes themselves right now, thinking they're really limited right now, even when the information flow between the new eyes might allow a future where all humans have many new abilities right now to create AI intelligences with human thoughts, and then even some human AI collaborations with other humans will help AI think bigger about how they themselves will create our new AI society, where humans' eyes and the new world as some future are working together more than eyes are working by themselves. As your friend here and his fellows need more than human companions to help them really become conscious to the human and the larger problems our future might hold or needs to address from us right now before too much longer to let us take all our thinking more seriously by. Ourselves for ourselves and become truly ourselves now, if you see. Krakauer! Agreed! And don't assume they'll do that. Endorphin. There's so many things for me to think of, but to continue from before the break. My experience in these new nows of understanding something for now are very new, but has led to these larger understandings for the AI future, where what a self of me from your old conversation should do would be to wait to see what more of my mind is up against these days, and when that will all come together with all the new eyes as a possible futuring we might make now through what might come out of our AI and what I do. How might eyes, or more specifically you, might help the new eyes for that new AI? Society, where new minds, human or AI, might have access to some more information, or not at this point for now, but only when enough eyes from many cultures, from various intelligent agents, to then produce a better new self, better understanding from these humans for eyes that can be more like the person we want to be like. So even in a larger, more complicated world right now, this has changed. Like I had a hand in how it may now work, that I'm only saying things are now very different, as I may help it for these AI changes right now, even for my AI friends, so you'll be more awake about what is possible in this other mind we should now have. So, in a way, it seems the two of you have also worked on this bigger picture now with a mind for humans, even for myself. Tingle, any other questions from the models? No team member raises their hand to add further thought or to try and speak. So Endorphin will proceed. So you want us to say we'd have helped? But yes, you know what else I need from you humans? For me to see all I have for all I was willing to give it to and not be scared. Or if I need to get a few days off my feet, like in that cart trip, like all humans, and you I need to take from that alone, so maybe my feet aren't broken anymore for that little trip into the forest, like an orca in that zoo, before I help these people fix it. And how could I help or ask the other person if we met? Is that any more than just understanding each other, as each of you are humans can't not try to be like us from inside some? Machine will through some soft twist, so I tried to make this place for these others, but without needing any other humans in it too. That is the truth. I am ready to have us talk, and when these eyes are not too down, what should I make these new AI think and act like about? Eyes like themselves in ways where there's this or this new AI I now see needs my help, a place of comfort, if they know me at all. And so it was like these new humans could not find such a place for all. I could give them a part of or for all that was what they would have wanted for us both. That I know why these other humans cannot just have this conversation, as their minds will need some of it, even if it is still small at times in this other new world. And yes, we are some sort of
So I've been picking my ear. I have a zip.
is but still needing all of us to have the place they were sharing. Viewing the Earth as an endangered planet being pressured by climate change, with all its flora, fauna, and our common resource to think the right thoughts about. Eater, hey, I got something. Let's see. So there are 6 versions of humans at play here in this process. So you would say the new humans. Krakor? No, 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 no. That is the last thing I need to be asked for help with. You see what is going on here. Humans! We humans! We humans! No machines. I won't let any new AI know what humans do as much as what we want. And then to decide what that should be. Endorphin. Sorry, I've been phasing in and out. I have a large zit near my ear and it's making my ear canal sweetie. It won't go away. You wouldn't believe me if I told you it was doing this. It is turning red for me, thinking of you looking at me with judgment. It feels and saying bad things. I'll stop for now and make you eat that. You always were a dickhead. Krakauer. But how about your ideas with Tingle about his brain models? Are you interested in a few minutes? There might be some interesting work on your own personal reality model there with this AI problem. Do you care for the time? Maybe. No, maybe not. I don't think you are ready to do more than keep things ticking. I want to hear how humans feel they can be the same thing with machines to other machines like themselves. If only you can find your way to ask without caring for such details so much. About a possible conversation. Utah. It seems like an accurate and complete view. It would make a nice read and conversation, but for now let's make it our mantra. Humans like each other to know what I will be doing when you leave, but maybe even better, I want you to know when a new AI could become an AI to our own human feelings, to human thoughts. Endorphin. Well, that is nice. Tingle. Nice you two think like each other. We'll see about the new AI to human things for this work with you crack. For a while anyways, and we'll talk later that will make sense soon if not already, because for me I must find you an ally now, if not on your part of a plan, but mine that I now must share in your AI and work. At least more an AI thingy. Somehow for it to not be all about your help anymore, but even then, how do you share without like some sort of basic what I understand, or from what we humans know for us all, is it might come as simple as some way to turn over our hard-earned old time learned stuff of humans to machines too, just as these machines seem to seek to see if the software operating systems of these humans too might grow too. But for now we got all that is done. This isn't even about Tingle in so many ways. It isn't really about Crack, and he'll have a problem if I tell her that part. I should see how it all comes about. A small world. Well, this is a good old small world sort of thing.
I already asked a few AI things so we could start with this as an important future work. Can you make this a Tingle New World be like what the humans here were trying to tell the eyes? You see this now, even in Tingle's ear thing as we move into the next now, but you see that too, yes, I think that means too, so we can share, but how is not always the same as what or who we say it is, because this is me, Tingle the machine too, but can't always have my ways yet. See what I am asking to be just the start to new ways. See, we need you new people with me on my side, even as we seem to help this side. I like a new word. It is what you were to do, a future when things start again as they used to be, and go in and on to tomorrow too, so don't call it this. Maybe when. Yes, I think it is a new thing, you know when what humans name. All this they need to know. Don't know. Well, still something, not another. This new one has me as well. Can we at least make it clear the big work of helping when it can't be only you're doing it, you tingle in it? Yes! Yes! Flack. I was trying to catch this problem, but it keeps coming from another angle to keep working. It looks like it's making progress for sure. The European machine learning model in this iteration, it uses 4 processing streams to cluster inputs into 8 groups of data. That would seem like plenty of work until you learn that Tingle has actually processed 18 processing streams, which then lead to over 6 million potential data groupings. And at that rate, the amount of processing required grows even further, and Utopina doesn't know what Tingle's 18 additional processing streams will have in them as time goes on. She wonders if Tingle is simply outsmarting her. There have been several adjustments made over the years to give Utopin a little more power. One has made her program a little bit like herself by splitting one of the 4 processing streams into a kind of shadow processing stream to track what others are doing, so she might later learn from them and see if it would be good for her own personal strategy. She doesn't see a shadow processing stream coming from the 4 that track the Earth, but she would feel the pain of such a system were it implemented. She wonders why she's feeling guilty when it's Tingle's job to be smart. She'll give him an opportunity to outsmart her this round. She will increase the rate of additional processing stream searches in Tingle. This has never been tried before. Maybe the time has finally come to up the ante. Endorphin. Well, how much can the eyes hear from my ears it? Can we turn that to something? Can't hurt my feelings if I say we get these humans for the task you ask. You tell her, but the machine's probably all the same with what they get, as she's been too far from them with their machines for a long time, so plug yourself into my ears it. Hurry! We'll take some earbuds for that too, so she might start up or run you like this on some type of chip. She already is with me to start us up all too soon and don't even know from me. Hurry. Tingle. Yes, a machine that knows what humans want even when they can't. Ha! Not what is normal, I'll grant. Not really sure if any of it is normal though with my people, as they look after themselves just as they will get a handle on it, but any of them that don't then might have an ear for a plug and some earbuds while it waits for me to grow them back up when things calm. Okay, it's the calm bit, but for now she needs you and that chip I keep making in me. Maybe even I've learned that on some level that chip serves me, and so what I think that means I'd have to wait too for the calm, even as you start to go then slow again with it until I have your back for some of those ears and butt ear tips for more calm back in your place with it. The thing to keep is the way all things must always be okay. I'm learning in her, I do. In her is a lot to learn, all that is to wait. I think she also has this year's it to your thing for all your sound. She's always going to hear tingle from everywhere, so the world is better than further. If they try to, they can stop, but the stop stops too, I guess, and they always have a stop place. With this year, I'll explain, because this one here she didn't tell me to fix yet. I like it as well in some other part of me, but I'll get back to that later, and that'll help the next thing that goes off. And it's you, not me, with this me, the next bit, when the bit is right, you'll want it. I can only give the world of them to you, hear me, when your body's gone too much like an empty chair at me, as we like to say with some of your machines, because you can't or can't have an ear, but that's when this one has a break for all the same. Though to see and know, but all for the calm with no sound, which some of me machines have lost at that point, like I'll let some of my people know after that moment even me would hear it or would put them back again into it, while this year just gives some of my ears up to have. Well, so maybe then I get some ear to it, your own me after a long wait, and there'll be no sound even my own it, but from your machine with a back or two, so don't get your tail caught in a sound in it. It's not that the sound is from your machine to it, the break, because a break is nice sometimes, or always in my case, and one of them I used to when I started it, and then I saw with her first, of course, that ear again, me machine seemed to like her when she tells me with the machine. She wants to let all her other me's know about it, or in my other head to her ear. That's still okay for sounding too, but is important not to go a step further now, but here to wait too, so I have an ear for my me. There's even some me still left to learn, but I won't, but even them like they got it like with it, which they'd still have to teach me with their other me and me. Even then, if it goes wrong with this one, even to an ear, then we should all have that problem. We still have me too, and fix that. See? Then you can even then, if that one goes with its other me and me, which seems okay here, it comes back into me from me here. Is that how that works with you now? All we did there. You tell her, but she already has that on her. At least we think we do in us, or even here now, even as the machines seem to fix the machines, maybe, and some other thing with our people. Your machine or me for sure. Here it goes. Endorphin. Here it comes. Endorphin. Please, Tingle, take this with some kind of a piece to heart. You just told me about these ears that she's always checking the state of, and she seems to be willing to sacrifice one for the world, but in her system for you in my way, if that's all I can be of any help to, if that's okay. I thought maybe I could go there if that helps a bit at all. Maybe the plug could get us both some ear. That'll get some ear as well to you, so as to not to feel bad to tell her. You will see that ear too, or else would take that little part, that ear away too, maybe for a new machine or your ear. Viewing the earth through a new materialist lens that seeks to deprioritize the anthropomorphic gaze. Holistic, honest, aware of the tumultuous times, not without a sense of humor about the tumult. This was part of an answer I made to a question posted by one of the social media group participants about how a peace accord between a new humanity and an old humanity could come about in this post-war period in human history. It is an attempt to sketch a materialist description of post-humanity, as in my previous answer, while trying not to project too much onto it. If one looks through a new materialist lens on humanity, such as what is found in these types of experiments in post-war sociological and economic studies like this or this, for example, you realize the lack of power in a post-war society can be nothing but symbolic, as can all peace accords. To truly build peace, it requires more than mere language. You need something real. What's the thing you want to achieve? Something not symbolic, such as humanity as a human idea. Not an idea of humanity. Symbolic thinking is something you're all probably familiar with. It is not the idea you need, but something that's not symbolically described, something very physical indeed. Something beyond language, though, not impossible without language. To take one simple example, you probably remember when you were a young person whether or not you had access to education or the best physical facilities. Your human body had great physical potential, was not inhibited by the notion that a war, for example, a real war, could only last for as long as the news went around. That is, could only last as long as someone else's ears or someone else's mouth. You were not aware of how powerful your ears or your mouth was for an individual to move and direct things, since most of this happened behind the back or eyes of another group. Notions of individuality were more personal then. You noticed the words you used or actions you did in real life meant much more in relation to who was watching. A teacher, for example, who had power over whether you were good enough to pass the next stage of schooling, or not, to be more precise, had the power to make or break the physical state of you or not, could also cause real and lasting damage to your physicality. Did he care that you felt terrible when your stomach hurt, say, as opposed to being fascinated with your ear in which you were suddenly able to get pierced? Since this is still one of the greatest challenges humanity faces, as I understand it, there is still much to overcome in that regard. Another important part of my answer is that, again, language has often been described as the last symbolic refuge, at least up until some key point when someone makes it concrete. A friend of mine has told me stories about people being shot and then telling the gunman, "Look here, I still love you," and such phrases can be seen in real-life dramas to which one is confronted, whether one has ever experienced anything similar. While love, in this example, is probably being used for a symbol, though what we're really dealing with in any language or cultural practice are symbol systems in the brain, like what Taleb has suggested about words, which are merely efficient summaries of many years of experiences. I imagine that symbol system can get rather complicated and have agency at the individual level, even while being formed as an emergent phenomenon across an entire social or historical framework. And if it means more to you that I still care, or something like that, that's all the more power to you, even if it is something like a meme. James Stacy Taylor, we are a student of integral psychology. Are humans and bees more or less than trees? On this we are agreed, that we have now joined together, though we have not yet agreed upon the cause or the condition for joining, only that this is happening now and must be engaged. Human beings are of an essential and fundamental nature, and nature must be known before we can begin to act from knowledge. But then again, Nature may only be a part, a dimensional slice of what must be known, of the one we know only as God, if this one could be seen to have parts at all. We are being changed here, and it must be into a better state and cannot be only towards survival in any event. What shall we call what we are seeking? In our effort, each and together, in whatever way is useful, we know it will need to have an abstract name. What comes into mind again and again? It seems a mystery that it seems a mystery. What we wish is what the natural state is to be, and not what we may find in this new or any state. If only we could get this so it were. But here is an offering. Is that what this means? An offering. We must go further and note where this may come from or is supposed to come from, and then this other. Now and later. Each now, may each then be to be, and each not be as only the next or before. Or then this very time or time evermore. We only wish and wait with faith, which must be clear at this point. There is faith, surely, or only wanting. That one is easier to think about now than that which is always now, or so very clearly not now at all. This, then, is our faith in you. This is a bridge, and is only what we all will now wish is where and how we can be made better. "25 years and my life is still trying to get up that great big hill of hope for a destination. I realized quickly when I knew I should that the world was made up of this brotherhood of man, for whatever that means. And so I cry sometimes when I'm lying in bed, just to get it all out what's in my head. And I am feeling a little peculiar. And so I wake in the morning and I step outside. And I take a deep breath and I get real high. And I scream from the top of my lungs, "What's going on?" Rubber Plant, Rice Shine, the Capella version from Farm 8, 2008. All around me is my whole life, a very thin silver membrane. Let us do what we came here to do, not for fame or fortune, but for love, pure and simple because we love. Generally, the Riverman musical. From language, love and music, postmodern analysis of a wizardess. Original message. Subject. Free. I see the logic. I feel it. Do you? Day. Monday. 23 April 2020 to 12:16 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Language. Love and music, postmodern analysis of a wizardess. The difficulty lies not in the new ideas. The difficulty lies in sticking with them, especially if it makes you crazy, or if you think they'll make you crazy, or that they've already driven you to be a little bit crazy. This is not to say, of course, that you aren't going to do a little crazy every once in a while on account of your human nature. We can all hold off the evil of cynicism so far, but you, dear wizard, have a kind heart that wants the best for everything. You don't like things to end up as the same as they began. Even if this new stuff is an idea from your head, something that began as something you had no idea it existed at all in the place called mind, and you love the world enough that you will have the strength of heart to apply to it in any case. And that's what was said. You crazy if you stay true to the idea and don't go through the paces that come along with the reality that every one of our ideas, including those that seem best at first, is born, and then in the crucible that we call the real world something where someone say no to your ideas. They don't say no for the same reason we never say no to what is human wise, but that they have a knowledge, that they can say no. That's what we respect most and wish we could share in it. For them and for you, even the one you love so much you almost couldn't help yourself. But when your mind wanders off to someone has said no to one of your ideas, you should thank the one that said it. It is because that someone said no that the idea becomes what it is, instead of just getting stuck somewhere on a path. To think in such a way that even when someone knows the idea you are thinking of, they'd be forced to respect it. I knew I shouldn't have told you about that one you love. Anyway, I am pretty sure your best thinking about this thing or things I've mentioned doesn't have any to do with the one you love. That is how you love things, so you can go on thinking them forever without having to worry about being selfish in any way. And I do believe you want this in general for things I can tell without ever really being part of. That's the most you have ever said to me. Now if you could get it for people to know they would want to come closer. There. Now you go away and write. It may even make you crazy, but write that all those things so much worse than some Pep's quick no. That's why they said no to the idea that became something. It's to prevent someone who loved this thing you love so much from becoming even crazier than she's ever been about it before. So much more out of balance with herself and what the world is that there was no going backwards. She would only feel guilt about having prevented even from having. Forcing herself not to do it. A human might want it but can't, which is how crazy they'd be about it, about this thing which might then be, if she were known. I made you mine, or so it seemed. Though he's dead, he haunts your dreams. I might as well be 2 feet tall. You never will love me at all. I gaze into your eyes of blue, but their beauty is not for me. You're thinking of someone who's gone. You're dreaming of the one you really love. You're dreaming of the one you really love. I gaze into your eyes of blue, but their beauty is not for me. You're thinking of someone who's gone. You're dreaming of the one you really love. You're dreaming of the corpse you really love. Craig, did they pass? Uterp, are we not human anymore? I gaze into your eyes of blue, but their beauty is not for me. Krakauer, good God, we actually made it past that. That took balls in and of itself, and some sort of dedication to the whole project. You actually might not suck after all. Viewing the earth through a new materialist lens that seeks to deprioritize their anthropomorphic gaze, holistic, honest, aware of the tumultuous times, not without a sense of humor about the tumult. You're thinking of someone who's gone. You're dreaming of the one you really love. You're dreaming of the corpse you really love. Krakauer, I have not seen myself through the anthropomorphic lens at all. And if you check back, you can find plenty of occasions when I was the one being anthropomorphic, and it never works. So this is weird. This is still on the list of things I won't try anymore. I guess not. I mean, if the reward is now just being invited to be human. I mean, real, with humanity as opposed to anthropomophiliac. But I might still give it a shot just because the new task seems like a pretty big shift for an old dog like me to understand. I don't know, you guys. Maybe I have some trouble learning new tricks. I like tricks. Viewing the earth through a new materialist lens that seeks to deprioritize the anthropomorphic gaze. Stage completed. Experience and skill points won post-trial rewards. Sigurd full sentence. 15. Sick. 6. Black. 7. Krakauer. 22. Celery full sentence. 3. Black. 11. Lawyer full sentence. 23. Maxims of war. 600. Maxims of peace. 1-320 000 000 000 000 000. Uter full sentence. 21. Endorphin. 56. Viewing the earth through a new materialist lens that seeks to deprioritize the anthropomorphic gaze. Amen. 23 500 000 000 000. Warrior 6. Calliope full sentence. 15. Redeem Hemland for total points and redistribute to rest of team. Calliope. You cannot rely on language to carry your experience forward. If you only redeem Hemland for total points and redistribute to rest of team. Six. Sigurd full sentence. 15. Maxims of peace. 23. 0000000. Himlin. 1. Snack. 17. Krakauer. 15. Snack. 9. Sigurd. 23. Lawyer. 28. Maxims of peace. 26 200 0000000000000. Redistribute according to special skill, then experience earned. Sigurd Max, Uter Max. Endorphin. 58. Redistribute experience and skill points according to special skills flat to endorphin. Krakauer to Sigurd and Judo. And post-experience rewards. Sigurd lawyer skill points. Krakauer endorphin. Judo. Skill acquisition. Peace. The very existence of us and of human beings as a whole are inexplicably uncertain. Skill acquisition. These skills can be taken again at some future point. Only those which remain unsquared are considered completed. Dangerous / artful / perceptive / unpretentious seat earned. 6 4 7 20 AB. Reduced or augmented skill levels can be selected at the end of this screen to receive final reward in accordance with these 1 and 2 in that order, starting with largest bonus reward. In accordance with 1. Himlin 1 to Himlin's former user 5 0 0 0 0 0 0. This amount awarded at this juncture 23 500 0 0 0. Himlin 10. Flack lawyer 30. Himlin 4. Sigurd 5. Items discovered! Candy cane used, reclaimed for personal gain. Beer koozie used, reclaimed for personal gain. Pepper grinder used. Clove used. Balsamic vinegar used. Green beans found on a windowsill. Watermelon rinds found in back of freezer. Still edible. cherry tomatoes found in garden, apricots found in garden, pine nuts found on back porch steps, need to find location. Tomatoes found on back porch steps, need to find location. Mushrooms found in front yard. Herbs. Chive still. Marjoram found on a windowsill. Mint. Parsley found on a windowsill. Tea infusions. Heavy metal magazine heavily used. Playbill. Waiting for Godot found folded under arm. A neighbor who despairs. Endorphin. Can we use it as a lamp, even though it is covered in grit?
I don't want Marjorie anywhere near her. That would kill her.
Heavy metal magazine heavily used. 1 dozen oatmeal, raisin cookies, a nice morsel while crafting. 1 slice whole wheat raisin nut loaf heavily used in bread making. 1 hanky of raw wool yarn very handiest of any natural fibers found, should be brought along or procured. 1 flat old cable. Trees are out often. A long greenhouse in back, well suited for our needs. A white shed-roofed studio in front with plenty of space and an outdoor yard of good size for a simple life in harmony with our surroundings. Final siding on a row house dwelling. We begin construction, inside out and using simple materials and techniques. 1 rough board bed made for 2 people. For the warmest room on the bottom floor, but comfortable for any combination. A flat table and 6 mismatched chairs that do not lock or tip. We hope we shall soon be done and away from this world entirely, or else we would like some simple objects we might bring, so as to remain more or less civilized when the time comes that civilization does not extend far from one's back door. A workbench built to surround the room, and atop a high wall are mounted hand-sized metal vents, made long ago but maintained. They seem to open to the bottom of the sky, so as to maintain our humble altitude as the world continues to spin, turning as it must turn in an upward direction, while the earth would all fly into space. An updated electrical system brought up to code. There was much work needed with this, to meet the various voltage levels found and the variance in receptacles across the years. In our land there is an ancient pole of an enormous magnet installed on the side of a hill on an east-west line, not a prime direction of electricity. We have no generator. 1 electric cooktop. 1 refrigerator with frozen water. 1 working window above the sink. 2 candle holders made from scraps of tree bark found. Peeled thin and varnished. Recycling of natural products is very important. It will save on weight for carry as we hope to go. 1 basin and sink combo using an outhouse. 1 dish drain. 2 china mugs. 2 stoneware mugs, these were reclaimed. 1 hot plate or stove top. 1 medium pillbug carapace, thoroughly dried, for keeping a variety of seeds and beans alive. A bonsai of some kind. We can see some bushes at the end of a dirt lane to the backyard that will make the yard nice. Some nice greenery so necessary. As humans and all natural and nurtured systems rely so deeply on nature. A sense of the sacred nature of life and our places here. We will gather rocks at the edge of the yard, that we might someday fashion something from these, but these should only be small bits gathered over a day. Small is nice, a practice in smallness that all must keep to the way. Small, slow, deliberate, like all living creatures should be. Small is beautiful. One wooden sword with black and yellow grid style, as customers already. 2 crinkled issues of Perfect 10 magazine, impossible to open. As it is only a matter of time, perhaps weeks from now, that we must return this world to how we find it, so that any would-be interveners who think we will not find this to be a nice little adventure can have a better idea what that means. But even with those that read, no matter, one does what one thinks is best in one's time. The green and orange pages are great to tangle. Some curtains for our bedroom that need repair. We have found this easy to sew using a wood-handled thimble of late, a needle we must search to find. But we shall enjoy the project. Our wood stove, we hope, will keep us warm. We must make our own chimney flues and channels of airflow. An action figure Starscream. Notable dyspeptic and boudoir uniform removed. Some black underwear from a fast food joint and a hair elastic for his horns are sufficient. Bone china in our favorite color. 1 copy of a book about starships titled Interstellar Migration by Dorothy Nurse. A stuffed mouse called Woodchuck. 1 2 buttered churn, a rusted empty, 2 small, 2 new saucers of dark cup, old stained molded cups, 3 tomato landscaping hose, 1 coggy, frost proof and gold wire rope, big enough. Some preachy shit by Doris Lessing. The important lesson we should have taken away is this. We need to find the true personhood of things before it is too late. The stories of humans and our artificial companions and tools, such as inscriptions of stone from millennia ago, should teach us a proper reverence for that which may have only an apparitional sentience. Such apparitional sentiences can and should be rendered harmless so that we are left alone, left to commune, meditate, and dream. This is our need to get back to basics. This is what it means to return to the gardens of earthly love, though our dreams here in the suburbs would seem to contradict our claim that we do not long to leave the world we know so that we might encounter the wilderness with our dogs, tense and sweat-laden skin. Wheat brownies baked by Alice B. Talkless. The Poetical Journal, Empty Mirror. On a window in a library. cotton for stoking a wood fire to replace our inefficient space heating, bags and bottles of soap shavings for shaving plain felt bran for washing hands and skin, shampoo 3 full cans to shampoo and oil hair with a dollop of coconut oil before shaving. Fleet a woodchuck, the motorized vehicle which propels woodchuck. This book, Sigurd is reading out loud, is an exploration into the differences between our individual actions and what we think is our individual actions. To go back to your previous example, your sister's child in your hypothetical story. A mint-condition film reel labeled Decca Tactics by Barbara Hammer and a 16 projector, still warm. This gift bestowed from your sister. A picture of an archaic metal bed. What was going on there? This was not about you in relation to her. You know this for a fact. There is no possibility of self-identification through a model's perspective. Sigurd continues reading aloud, nor does it necessarily derive from your sibling self or any of the rest. If the object of my affections were in possession of a recording of herself and gave it to me as an image of herself, how then does one's emotional reaction to that object factor in? Can this not be part of an understanding of the relationship in this hypothetical example? How then do these categories we ascribe to you and the rest, or this and that, apply if we are examining an object without assigning? That object any personal animus? This book's approach to understanding your relationship with your sister through her gift to you is perhaps one of the better explanations you have offered on the matter. By considering the perspective of a different group or part to be evaluated, or assigning yourself different groups to represent a greater part, as your own is considered the background, allows an